Okay, welcome to the Nerves and Plexus Lab. We are going to go over this. First thing that you need to recognize is that we've got the spinal cord here. I'm just going to obviously point out, here we've got the brain. Cervical enlargement is because we need extra nerves to go to the arms. Lumbar enlargement, we need extra nerves to go to the legs. So there's this extra that we've got. Conus medullaris, it comes to a cone, just like you can see here. That's the end of the spinal cord. That is important with regards to lumbar puncture. You don't want to go in at that, above that. And so the cauda equina literally means horse's tail, equa meaning horse, and cauda meaning the tail. Filum terminale literally means end string. And so this is going down and attaching, anchoring the spinal cord down. Now, when we look at this, this is what we've got, but how many nerves do we have? These are fanning out down here, and they're going out through all of this area, but I want to go over this with you. This one, as we look, is how the numbering is going to be for the spinal nerves. I want you right now to go to C7 on you. So if you'll feel right back here and find that bump, the vertebra prominens, that bump is C7. Above that will be C7 nerve. Below that will be C8 nerve. And then you're on to T1. Come up to your skull, right up to the occipital, and up there is going to be C1, above C1. So C1 nerve is above C1 vertebrae. C2 is above C2 vertebrae. C3 above C3, C7 above C7 vertebrae. This is where the change happens. There's no cervical 8 vertebrae, but there is a C8 nerve. That's where the 8th comes in. This one is under. So from here on, they're going to be under. And as you get to here, easiest thing is to look at this and say underneath is L4. Underneath is L5. And so we've got those. I'm going to just hold this up so that you can see it on here as well. And when you look, you can see your C1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and there would be 8. That's the cervical ones. And then, of course, it's going to go from T1 to T12. If we go down to here, here is the 5th lumbar, here's the L5 nerve, here's the 4th lumbar, here's the L4 nerve. And so we've got the way that it would be. Where would they do a spinal tap? And the spinal tap is going to be between L3 and L4, or between L4 and L5. And as you look at this, here's between L4 and L5, here's between L3 and L4. And if you look, if they were to bend into that fetal position, it would open up the space. They could go through, and when they hear that characteristic, or feel that characteristic pop that they went through the dura mater, they know that they can collect cerebrospinal fluid. And so that's where it would go. It's a pretty long needle that they're going to use. I'll just show it to you just briefly. I don't know if you can catch it or not, but I'll just try to show you right here. And there is the needle. And so then that would go in, and it would be able to retrieve cerebrospinal fluid. What would they check it for? All kinds of things. For bloods, for bacteria, for pressure, those things that they would do. Now, the other thing that I want to do is to have you look just over here. We've got the term dermatome, and you'll see this in your notes as you look. But tome means a slice or cut, and derma means skin. Plexus means braided. So as we look at this, I want you to notice for the plexuses. And so we've got right here the plexuses. When you look at this for the plexuses, I'm just going to bring it up a little bit closer so that you can refer to this. And as you look, then we're going to see this. On here, let me just get this. Here is the cervical plexus. Here's the brachial plexus. What does brachial mean? It means arm. And then here are the intercostal nerves. And the intercostal nerves are going T1 to T11. And then we've got lumbar plexus, sacral plexus, and sometimes they group it as lumbosacral plexus. Now, when you look at the term braided, that means that there are different parts of the nerve fibers that are blended together or braided together. And this is going to make the plexus. When we look at this, I want you to recognize in your notes, I'm just going to look at it briefly with you. For cervical plexus, C1 to C4. Now the phrenic nerve is coming from, as we know, C3, 4, 5, and is going to the diaphragm. Underline that, that's an important thing to know. C3, 4, 5 is going to the diaphragm, and that one, of course, the phrenic nerve. It takes some of the fibers from C3, 4, and 5. Brachial plexus, for this one, if you look in your notes, you can see C5 to T1. Now, where is C5? Well, we've checked it on just on our vertebrae and check it, but I want you to put your hand right here. And if you'll go just above your clavicle, and as you go there, you can feel this subclavian artery, but if you move your fingers around a bit, you can feel that it twinges a bit. That's the brachial plexus. Where is it going? To the arm. Now, was it concluding C5 to T1? If you put your arm out, I want you to just recognize the dermatomes. If you were to test somebody, you could say, can you feel this? C5. Can you feel this? C6. C7, C8, T1. Have we now gone through all of the fibers, or the nerves that are going out here, and so C5 to T1 being accomplished in those dermatomes that we could check to see